What if, as our source argues, it actually puts people at risk by giving them a false sense of security?
Sometimes the best way to get a handle on these big theological ideas is to look at a real person's life. So, to understand this debate, we're not going to start with theology. We're going to start with the unsettling story of a man named Charles Templeton.
Back in the 1940s, Charles Templeton was an absolute superstar. I mean, a lot of people thought he had even more potential than his friend Billy Graham. He preached to massive crowds, and by all accounts, his ministry was incredibly fruitful. But then, it all began to unravel. He was swamped with doubts, left the ministry, and in 1995 he published a book called Farewell to God. He died an agnostic.
So, Templeton's story just forces us to ask this huge question. If salvation is a one-time, unbreakable deal, what on earth do we do with a story like his?
Okay, so the standard answer you'll hear from supporters of eternal security is, well, he must have never been truly saved in the first place. But the source points out that this just opens up a whole new can of worms. It creates this agonizing fear. Because if a guy who seemed to have more evidence of salvation than almost anyone wasn't actually saved, how can any of us, with all our own doubts and struggles, ever be sure that our conversion was the real deal?
And Templeton's story throws us right into the middle of a debate that's been raging in the church for centuries.